Well, being the optimist, we hope that we are back on track in KZN. We're racing in the capital of KZN, that is Pietermaritzburg, where Scots will all host a 9-race program, which means that the bipod starts in race number 2. But of course, don't forget that this is our contacts. It is social media contacts, that is WhatsApp. And of course, you can like us on Twitter as well at Weighted to Win. We look forward to your input. Right, let's get straight into it. It is, again, a busy selection show with the first 2 selections, that is exotics, coming through from the man on the right, that is Daryl Murray. But let's cross over to Darren. And Darren, let's talk about that second race. Obviously, people are going to be very cautious after all the rains that we've had in the province. And I think the exotics could be the way to go. But I know that you're a very bullish man when it comes to a horse that you really nail your colours to the mast with.
Cecil, I'm concerned about all the rain because when Scottsville is soft, you can get big results all day long. So there is a form line here behind Victor Rail where Tea Time Tipple, Trippy T and Plinian were all within a length of each other. So they all leading lights. Now, Tea Time Tipple's been very costly to follow. We all expected him to win his last 3 starts, and he's gotten beat. The blinkers go on. That could improve him a length or 2. Gorgeous Guy and Katavar not out of it either. So 1, 6, 7, 9, and 10.
Okay, 1, 6, 7, 9, and 10. And just touching on the 7, I hope you've got it in your bipod, Daryl, because it seems that to enjoy the given the ground, it's run in the wet twice, and it's been 2 seconds, so the conditions shouldn't be a problem if we race.
Yes, Cecil. Originally, I had all of numbers 7, 9, and 10 because there's nothing separating the 3 of them. But my perm is a costly perm. It's already 576 Rand. So I omitted the 9 and I've just gone with 7 and 10. Now, Teton Tipple, I'm hoping the blinkers can do the magic for him. He has been costly to follow. He's done well over the course and distance, so that's of no concern that he switches back to a turf surface. And then Plinian. Last time out, went down to the start much more composed and relaxed because he does have a tendency to run his race before the actual event itself. He's also been over the course and distance twice, was touched off on both occasions, so the switch to turf is of no concern for him, and he should strip fitter in his second run after gelding. So 7 and 9, if I don't get through, Cecil, it will be a blow.
All right, let's just confirm that costliness is actually all of a 576 Rand. And given the conditions as our tipsters that both did suggest, with all the rain, if we do get on track, I think the percentage route may be the way to go. But the full unit will cost you 576 Rand. That's a bipod. Hopefully starting at 12:40 with the running off race number 2 at Scottsville. You get a sense that Mr. Marie on my right here is very, very bullish about the early exotics, the bipod, and indeed he's going to just confirm that bullishness about the big payouts that await us at the end of the respective bipod and PA heats, and that, of course, is the PA starting in race number 3. Just before we do come back to Mr. Marie, Darren, race number 3 looks a race that could be dominated by Gareth Van Sail. He's got all of numbers 1, 3, 5, and 7 at this stage. We don't know if any are scratched. The riding arrangements would suggest that the 1 would be the stable elect, but I'm sure you will have your own thought process.
He included numbers 7 and 11 if I had to take a PA. Now, Tommy Riss, number 7, improved from first run to second run. There was support for her on debut where she disappointed. But last time out, even though that form line could be weak, I like the way she finished off her race, and I think she's going to show a couple of lengths more improvement here. Questo Equelo, number 11, good improvement with the blinkers fitted last time out, and I think she's the nearest rival. So 7 and 11 in an open-looking race.
7 and 11, Gareth Van Sail, a strong hand in the race. He's got all of 4 runners. And which way are you leaning towards, Daryl?
I'm leaning towards the 1, True Love's Kiss. I like the improvement she showed in her second start. I'm calling you Clyde now. Cecil, you know who she's related to?
Yes.
That also Handsome Prince, that
Yes.
2-year-old.
Yes.
I think he won in his second start for Justin Snaith, the
Yes.
Ferrari colt, over 1,000 meters. So she does come back in trip. She was very green around the bend last time out, but I think she would have learnt a lot. So Atendei, where it takes the ride from a one draw, I think she could feature. She's not too far off Questo Equelo on form, so very little separating the two of them. And if you like number 11 over here, you have to like number 2, and that's Ocean Palace. The stable's absolutely flying. You got SK from a neat draw. She's going to strip fitter. Did have excuses in her later start. She debuted around the bend at Scottsville over this course in distance. It wasn't a bad effort whatsoever. So 1, 2, and 11 for me in the PA. It's a costly PA. If we get a slice of the pie, I think we'll show a nice profit.
Indeed, of course. And just to confirm that the costliness, 576 Rand will be the total outlay for that place accumulator. 13.15 is the off timer to race number 3. As we look forward to racing at Scottsville on Sunday, I can tell you that the only scratching that's come about on the whole card is in race 4, and that's the 11 off limits. So that will leave us with a field of 12 after the scratching of the 11. And the current favourite, again, looking to be a pretty trappy race, is the number 9, well named, appropriately named, Electric Storm. That's at around the 4 to 1, 9 to 2, about the 12 Mayor of Maryvale. So that is going to be the start of the pick 6. Just before we get to that pick 6 selection and suggestion from Darren. Daryl, your thoughts on race number 4, 4 to 1 the field? Again, that just tells you the story of the card on the afternoon.
Yes, Cecil. A tricky event. I'd like to know the jockey arrangements of here with regards to Wes Mowing, if he had the choice of the rides. I mean, he has ridden Mayor of Maryvale in the past, and he now jumps on the filly, who's only got 54.5 to shoulder, and she's unexposed over this distance. But I do have my reservations with regards to that form line, but I think she can certainly improve and love the step up. Mayor of Maryvale, now last time out, he was wet with sweat. I mean, he looked, I'm going to be blunt over here, he looked awful going down to the start because I thought he had run his race before. And despite being interfered with in running, I don't think that race was run to suit whatsoever. And coupled with the fact that he was sweating, I think that was an outstanding effort. You know, he is drawn wide, but he's got early toe. It's a long back stretch. And I think if he's allowed to use his action, he could be the one to peg back, because I was fairly impressed with his comeback effort. I thought he was going to run hopelessly downfield. Electric Storm, you can see last time out, certainly his best effort to date. Staying on in the latter stages, he now goes the 1750. He's my backup horse in the PA and the bipod. So I've only got numbers 5 and 9 and 12, but I think 5 and 10 are open to improvements.
Okay, so the rating stable of Wes Mowing could be the catalyst to race number 4. Let us see if that is falling in line with Darren's selections. Now, 8, Triton, before we come to you, Mr. Burrows, have you also put this in the category of Judgment Day, or you think that it is a horse that will finally get it right sooner rather than later?
Well, I thought a very tricky race. You know, you've got horses like Madison Valley. This horse is crying out for ground. He's a member in Seattle out of a staying mare, and he made up a lot of late progress from the back end of the field last time out. There was a runaway winner, Kumamori, that got away with a tailwind. Others to consider, this horse Electric Storm ran second to Wyatt's Choice. I thought Wyatt's Choice was a good thing that day, and this horse chased him home. Kings Island and Mayor of Maryvale, the next two.
Okay, so we're actually going to confirm that you have races where you have gone wide, and I do have it on good authority that there are a couple of bankers that come at the tail end of the Pick Six, and namely races at 7 and race 9 in a race number 7. We've got the banker of the 6, and that is Mlenzi Yokududuma. That is also giving a bit of a thunder type feel to the selections. That is, of course, Legs of Thunder. And in race number 9, number 2, Tara Star. I hope I'm not misquoting you there. We've got a handicap as the opening leg of the jackpot. The fifth race on the card is over the 17.50 and looks certainly to be another very competitive event to look forward to. Before we get to our jackpot suggestions from Mr. Burrows, Mr. Marie, number 2, Faisal, looks to be upwardly mobile and takes a bit of a drop in class. That is in facing up to this field for race 5 of Baratha Fillies and Mares 86. Well, I say drops in class in compared to the sort of opposition it's met.
Yeah, Cecil, I think she's deserving of another victory because she's ultra consistent and she's off the same rating. For a change, she cracks the draw and she could get a nice run in transit because if Jason Gates on family favorite pushes forward, which she has done in the past, she could be in the ideal position in running. So I'll give her a chance. Also gave chances to Lily Bell. You know, her runs on the turf haven't been bad whatsoever. Close up beyond Rocky Reef. Have a look at that run, Cecil. She gave Rocky Reef 6 kilograms. Then in her next start beyond Southern Cape, it was in a Pinnacle Stakes event. And on that run, she's 2.5 kilograms better off with a stable companion. So I'll make her a player. And then the race there's quite a bit of pace in the race. And I think that could set it up for a filly like Sea Goddess, who tends to finish her races off extremely well. And over this course and distance, she's always been in the money. So I've gone all of numbers 2, 4, 7, and 10.
Yes, indeed. I think Sea Goddess could be a live wild Louis Gerson runner with Chase Mojan making the trip for Louis Gerson. Now, as far as your jackpot, the first leg, will this be a cautious start or there's something that you can be bullish about, Mr. Burrows?
I put the field in this race because I thought many had chances. Let's start off with this horse, Phaser. She's a lightly raced 4-year-old, only had the 8 starts for 6 times in the money. And she was narrowly beaten by Sign of Fate last time out over the mile. I think the extended trip's going to suit her. I give Sea Goddess a big chance. She does like slightly further, but if there's a good pace on, she will be mowing them down late, especially in the soft conditions. Ice Sensation's got ability. She has rested, but this stable gets them fit. And others to consider, a horse like Imperious Destiny, that her last run was disappointing, but she's got ability.
Now, just before we get to your jackpot, can I suggest, or am I asking too much to say that you're going to cover your banker in the third leg of this jackpot, or you are going to, or the third leg, yes, indeed, or you are going to stick with that banker in race 7?
Cecil, I fancy Mlenzi Yokududuma very strongly. He's had the 2 comeback runs, and I think he's a banker and good value at 33 to 10.
Okay, so that is a banker right across the board. It is a banker in the Pick Six, one of 2 bankers, and a banker in the third leg of the first jackpot. That is race number 5. Mlenzi Yokududuma from a flying ownership and a flying stable. That is in race number 7. All right, let's have a look at the selections as we look ahead at 2 contributions for the last of 4 races on the afternoon. Race 6 being the start of the second jackpot. And now the highlight of the afternoon, it is the Michael Roberts Stakes, the renewal 2024 renewal. It will be over the 17.50 once again. And it looks like it will be the 2 chief protagonists locking horns once again. And they do top the betting boards at this early stage. One is 22 to 10 and one is the 3 to 1 of the favorite. The marginal favorite being the Platinum-owned number 5, Cape Eagle. And the conqueror last time out, Former Gear, one of a coupling from the all-conquering Peter Muscat stable, is the other. And that is at 3 to 1. Now, Daryl, is this going to be a renewal of rivalries, or can we see 8, Rocky Reef, possibly being a bit of a fly in the ointment?
She doesn't form part of my selections, Cecil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cape Eagle, many will say was disappointing in the Christmas handicap. He might have been, but have a look at his form over this course and distance. He's only contested 2 races and he remains unbeaten. He meets former gear kilogram better off, so he's got a lot in his favor to reverse that form. Um, you know, you're going to get a bolt showing. He just needs to relax in running and he really should contest the finish. Former gear, this horse, I thought a couple of runs back was ultra disappointing because I expected more. But have a look since they removed all the headgear. He's now settling in his races and he's finishing them off. And he did just that last time out. So I'm sure they're not going to change um, a winning formula. They're going to give him a chance from a wide draw. And I think Cape Eagle's going to get first run on him, and he's going to have to go fetch Cape Eagle. If you're playing trifectas and quartets, maybe perhaps the best weighted in the race. Cape Town Beauty could flash up for third and make that trifecta dividend just boost a bit. But I'm expecting the same as Darren, numbers 5 and 9 to dominate.
Well, talk about the 5, Darren. You look at the form lines in recent times. It is the 2 lengths to Pakea, who ran a cracker recently in the KP the King's Plate, the Lomron's King's Plate. And of course, there was that 5 lengths to the eventual July winner just last year, Winchester Mansion. And then third, less than a length to Royal Victory. That sort of form line makes a very good reading. And then we could come down a couple of races later. In fact, a race later, second to a certain seed again.
Yes, no, he's a consistent sort. He never runs a bad race. He's a strong front runner. He gives that kick at the 400 and he stays on all the way to the line. He gave See It Again a run for his money. I know See It Again won a tad cozily, but he was still chasing at the finish. He won his penultimate start. I thought it was a bit disappointing, but he got the job done. And last time out's beaten a length by former gear. Not a bad effort, but he is capable of a little bit more. I'm leaning towards him because he'll get the run of the race, where former gear from a deep draw is going to tuck in a couple of lengths off the speed and chase Cape Eagle down. So I've only included the 2 of them.
Right, so it is a suggested bet in race number 6 to the box exacta 5 for Cape Eagle and the 9 former gear. That'll be in the feature on the afternoon, the Michael Roberts Stakes, and that'll be over the 1750 box exactas. And fill your boots, folks. It is a 5 and 9. Both our analysts are very bullish about the renewal of rivalries and both seeing who can actually hit that tape first on Sunday in race number 6. Right, on to a Pinnacle Stakes. This will be the first leg of the last pick 3 race number 7, and we drop back in trip to 1400 meters. A field of 8 are currently assembled, and we've already heard of the bullishness that's coming through from our hybrid analyst. Let's start off with our studio-bound analyst and ask him what he thinks. Now, Gladiatorian really nearly caused that upset on Summer Cup Day and gave Dice a bit of a fright, although Dice had already won the race. But the closing in and the work in the last 400 meters was certainly something to behold.
Yeah, it was a lovely effort, Cecil. If you strictly have a look at his ratings, he is the one to beat. I mean, he's £8 best in, but he's earned his rating of a shorter distance. And when he tries the 1400, he travels too hard and he overdoes it. So with the 62 kilograms, I think he's got his work cut out. I have respect for Emilienza Yoko Doduma, Darren Burrows' best bets. Slight reservation coming back to the 1400, but his 2 runs since returning from a rest have been very promising, and it looks like he's on the right path now. Nelson Bay, I like the fact that he's coming back to the 1400 because he tried the mile last time out and he was pulling terribly. So I think with Muzi, with 52.5 to shoulder, he's probably going to put him in a great spot and he could prove very hard to peg back. And this was Passage of Power. Last time out, Kupuliwe got the run of the race. And this was turning for home. I actually thought he was in trouble. And he rallied late. I thought it was a cracking effort on his behalf. So I've got respect for him. I think if I narrow it down, I think numbers 3, 5, and 6 are the ones to focus on over here.
All right, so the secret is out, Mr. Burrows, that your best bet comes about in race number 7. We know you've banked it in both the Pick 6 and the jackpot. As far as Mlenzi Duduma is concerned, any concerns whatsoever about the threats that lie in the form of maybe number 1, Mr. Master Starter, whom I thought at this time of the year would be fighting out some of those features in the Western Cape?
Well, Cecil, this is a competitive race, but when I look at this horse, Mlenzi Duduma, he's always had a lot of ability. He's a lightly raced 5-year-old. That day that he ran second to Sylvana's Dasher at Kenilworth over 1400, he blew his race at the start and he absolutely took off late. If this was a mile, I would make him a 5-star bet. The 14 is the only slight concern, but there is going to be a pace with a couple of sprinters in this race. And I think he'll be mowing them down with that long Scottsville run-in. So I thought great value at 33-10.
Right, you've heard it there from Darren. It is the value and certainly a good striker for on the 6th, Mlenzi Duduma. That is, of course, the Legs of Thunder, and attributed to the former Orlando Pirates striker. That is Jerry Scosana, who was very much a man with a very powerful legs, ran like he was the man who had thunder in his legs. So that is a best bet for Darren Burrows, and of course, as mentioned, a banker in both the Pick 6 and the jackpot, which is suggested this would be leg number 3.